What's up people, Dezzles here, and it's been a little while since I've talked about a book, but here we are, I'm gonna get back into it. So, let's get started. This week I'm going to be talking about The Lies of Lamora by Scott Lynch. It's the first book in the Gentleman Bastard series. It's fantasy, and let's talk about it, shall we? The Lies of Lamora is, I'd say it's a good book, but it's one that I found myself having trouble keeping entirely engaged with. I'm not entirely sure what made it difficult for me to hone my attention in on the book, but something just wasn't quite gelling with me, I guess. Lamora jumps between kind of three sets of information. The story of Lamora as he's growing up to become a master thief, and him as an adult as he's executing his grand plan to rob one of the richest people in the city that he lives in. And then there's these random interludes telling you a bit more about the world. I have no issue with the book jumping in and having a whole bunch of world building happening, but a lot of the time it'd take an interlude and be like, here is some extra information about the world, and then very next chapter that piece of information that you were literally just given is incredibly important, or at least important or relevant somehow. It was very rarely something that was going to lead later on in the book. You hear about that thing, it's about to be important. That's not to say that the world isn't interesting. It really is. There is so much about it. The way that the crime syndicates, for lack of a better word, are set up in the city that he lives in, to the far-reaching wine trades, I guess, in other parts of the world. It's just incredibly fascinating. But the story maybe just... it kind of bugged me that it was literally the whole, here's some information, now it's relevant. Here's information, now it's relevant. There were only a handful of things that were set up early on in the book that became super important later on. For me, maybe it's just the fact that we are following someone who's not necessarily one of the good guys throughout the book that makes it hard for me to really engage. I'm not sure. But it was a longer read than I usually do, so it could have to do with that as well. If you enjoy fantasy novels and you want a character who's complicated and is not necessarily the perfect good guy, then Lamora is a fantastic option. And really, there's a whole bunch of little interesting things, like the bonds mages in there are really fascinating. I want to learn a bit more about what they're capable of. But this isn't a series that has grabbed me enough to get me in. This isn't a series that's really grabbed me enough to want to keep reading the rest, which is a shame because at least one of my friends, who usually the books that she's recommended to me in the past have been ones that have grabbed me and ones that I've needed to just hammer through and finish. I'm looking at you, Mr. Bourne. All in all, I'd say it's good. Definitely give it a read. See if it's the kind of thing you enjoy. That's the most important thing that I have to say on this one. If you enjoyed the book or any of Scott Lynch's other books, let me know down in the comments below or on Twitter at Dezzles. I'd love to know what you thought about it, what sort of things got you engaged and enraptured with the series, if that happened for you. And until then, I will be back in a couple of days where I'll be continuing my Soul Link Nuzlocke with Day Old Kingsmill, and the lighting just changed because my computer just turned off, but that's fine. We'll be continuing that Nuzlocke. It's stressing me out. I don't want to be the one to cause us to fail. Yeah. Until then, I hope everyone's having a fantastic time, and I will see you all in a few days. Bye. I don't need my puff art in this video.